didn't know.
This is episode 24 of RKO.
You didn't know?
We would like for you to like our page on Facebook. Just search RKO You Didn't Know. Completely free, completely fun. WWE updates, Lucha Underground, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA. Lots of great photos. Everything you could want. Like our page, like our posts, comment. We'd love to hear from you. This Sunday is Money in the Bank live from Columbus, Ohio. I'm happy to say I'll be attending that event live and the NXT house show the night before. Excited about my wrestling weekend coming up. Sunday before the event airs on pay-per-view and the WWE Network on our Facebook page, exclusively on our Facebook page, RKO You Didn't Know. You can see Russell and I's predictions for the pay-per-view. So check that out. Russell, Money in the Bank is this Sunday, like I just said. First thing I'd like to bring up is if you recall our last podcast, episode 23, when we were predicting the matches that would take place at Money in the Bank. Not to toot my own horn, but I guess I will. I correctly predicted that we would see a ladder match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Even though Dean Ambrose is walking around with that title, he's not the champion. Seth Rollins is still the champion, but the title will be up for grabs atop, hanging from the top of the arena. You have to climb to the top of the ladder, retrieve the title to officially become champion, Dean Ambrose. We'll see if you can do it. Just wanted to say I correctly predicted that would be a match. It only makes sense. A ladder-themed pay-per-view, a ladder match for the main title in the company. Why not? A couple of the undercard matches I'd kind of like to see beefed up. And, Russell, this is what I want to start off talking about. Ryback is the new Intercontinental Champion. Here's the thing. Ryback versus Big Show, can kind of put me to sleep. I can be in the arena watching the match. I'm afraid I'm going to fall asleep. Let's beef it up. Let's make it a six-pack challenge. Let's have Ryback defend that Intercontinental title against another 5 men, just like he won it in the Elimination Chamber just a couple weeks ago. You can put Big Show in there. Let's put The Miz in there. You know what? Let's put Axelmania and Macho Mandow in that match, and maybe even Zack Ryder, who should get way more TV time than he already does. But in the past couple weeks, he's gotten a little bit more than he has probably accumulative in the last couple of years. So, a six-pack challenge, Intercontinental title match. Russell, how do you feel about that?
I like it. I don't know about the participants, but I do like it.
Who would you put in that if you don't agree with my participants in that six-pack challenge? Would you put Miz in there?
Yeah, I think Miz. You could have Miz in there. Yeah.
But wouldn't you put Macho Mandow in there, considering his history with the Miz too? Give him and Axelmania a chance to maybe grasp the gold.
Well, I think you need to have those two guys go on to the tag team.
But they don't have any match on the pay-per-view at all, so they don't even have a spot.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think they deserve, if not for the comedic aspect of it, they deserve a spot on the pay-per-view. But I would put the Miz in there. I would definitely put Wade Barrett in there. Perhaps Sheamus.
Well, let's not forget, Sheamus is already in the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Well, what happened to the time of guys doing double duty? Why can't they, be in both matches? I mean, you see it at the Royal Rumble, all the time.
Well, what I don't understand is,
Well,
here's the thing. What I don't understand is why there's 7 guys in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Why is there an uneven number of guys? Why can't it be 6?
Well, let's go over the guys that are in the ladder match.
Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph Ziggler.
Sheamus.
Kofi Kingston. That's the one I don't understand. Why is Kofi Kingston getting a shot? Now, maybe it's because, he's being rewarded for...
They do that because of the things he does with ladders in those ladder matches. That's why he's in there.
So he's
the spectacle of it. Yes.
So we know he's not going to win. He's just there to do the spot.
He's not going to win unless New Day pops up, the remaining guys in New Day pop up and give him a big boost. Now, I just don't see that happening, of course. But you got Neville in there, who will probably do some amazing things with the ladders. Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, and Kane. So that's 7 guys.
And, a year ago, if you think about it, the ladder match with Randy Orton, John Cena, where Randy Orton got hurt, he got the big gash in his head. He can work a ladder match. So I can.
He's won Money in the Bank before too.
Right. So I understand with him being in it. I was hoping that they might have a surprise entrance. But,
Bray Wyatt?
Maybe so. Why not? I mean, he's not doing anything. So,
okay, well,
I'll tell you what. Undertaker?
I think so. I've said that before. I mean, I've said that I think the way they're sparsely putting him in here and there, the less it's like an Undertaker Brock Lesnar thing. I mean, probably more specifically Undertaker, because the less he's involved, don't you feel like it's more special when you do see him on TV? Don't you feel that way?
I do, but I also wish they would do something more with him.
What do you want? A title on him?
No, his character doesn't need a title. That's the one thing about the Undertaker. The Undertaker got to the point where he didn't need a title.
But Bray Wyatt is still a new, but he's so young still. Do you think I don't think he's already at that level. That's just like the same thing. I'm not under the mindset that he doesn't need to win to still. See, you think for his character, it's not about wins and losses. He's got to win sometime. That's why I just can't get over him losing to The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Why even put him in that spot? It's not helping him at all. 2 WrestleManias he's been in, and he's lost 2.
But look at the people he's fought. I mean,
but imagine what it would do for him if he had beaten those 2 guys.
Yeah, he might be in the same position as, Mr. Kevin Owens right now. Everybody talking about you. But, getting back to you rebooking the Money in the Bank, what other matches would you change?
Well, like I said, Big Show versus Ryback, unless something amazing happens, is probably going to put me to sleep. So the 6-pack challenge was an idea I had. Something else, look, I've been pushing this since Extreme Rules. I want that Divas title match between Nikki and Paige. If it's going to be between Nikki and Paige and you're not going to have Naomi involved, if it's going to be between Nikki and Paige, I want Brie banned from the match. especially considering we just saw them utilize Twin Magic on Raw. I want Brie banned from the match. I want Nikki to win if she's going to win on her own merits. I want one-on-one, just like we see in NXT, 2 women, no interference, given a good amount of time to go out there and wrestle. And Nikki has gotten considerably better since her debut. And Paige is a very good wrestler. That's what I want to see for the Divas title.
I would like to see Naomi get back in there also.
She's kind of been pushed aside past couple weeks.
Yeah, and I think that, she should have been given the opportunity. I wouldn't mind also seeing Natalya get a shot. It's been a long time that she's had a shot at the title. And she actually can wrestle.
Yeah, she's a great wrestler. But since Tyson's out right now with whatever injury he has, I don't know if that means we don't see Natalya for a while too. So I don't know. But I'm not really sure why Naomi's being pushed aside right now. But for whatever reason, I don't know. She is. I mean, it's hard to build momentum when you debut a new side of her with a new, bodyguard, Tamina, and then all of a sudden she's not on TV for X amount of weeks. It's hard to keep that momentum rolling. So people forget quickly.
Tyson Kidd being injured, does that open the door finally for Cesaro to...
I don't know, because we haven't seen him on TV since Tyson's been out, a week, 2 weeks ago. So they just never know what to do with Cesaro. Personally, I don't see him as a face. I see him as a heel. I see him as a heel everyone likes. And everyone, counts when he does the big swing. Everyone loves his really, amazing moveset, but I just don't see him as a face. I don't know. I don't know.
The crazy thing is that, he has gotten a lot of props from Stone Cold Steve Austin. Mm-hmm. Many times Steve Austin has said, Cesaro is one heck of a wrestler. And you would think that, they would utilize that. I was making the cocky heel, maybe even join forces with Rusev, kind of do like a, I don't know,
well, they're both foreign, so they could play off that,
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they could kind of do something like, with those two together, So, that might be an idea.
You could even put Barrett, Cesaro, and Rusev together and have some sort of foreign allegiance there between the three of them. Three strong men. They could wreak havoc. They really could, But that's yet to be seen. Like I said, I was just thinking about the Divas title. I wish... even though every Divas match I see on Raw or SmackDown, when it doesn't, I get disappointed when it doesn't go, in excess of at least 5 minutes. Nikki wrestled Summer Rae last night on Raw. It was quick, and it felt like, I hope they're not slipping back into, those quick Divas matches. But I don't know. To me, you had a 3-segment Randy Orton and Sheamus match last night when we could have had a 2-segment Randy Orton and Sheamus match last night and then a 2-segment Nikki Bella and Summer Rae match last night, just to give the Divas a little something. But it's funny on the NXT side where you got the Divas main eventing shows, and then on Raw, they don't last through one commercial break. So that's, I don't know, it's confusing. I just don't know if they don't have the faith in the current Divas on the main roster or what it is. But so I'm hoping for a good, Brie involved or not, a good Divas title match at Money in the Bank. And, like I said, we'll see what happens with that Intercontinental title. But Russell, real quick, let's talk about the history of the Money in the Bank, because what I'd like to do Like I said, we're going to post our predictions for the pay-per-view the day of the event on our Facebook page. That's the only way you can see it. And you can, comment your predictions too and tell us what you think we got wrong. We would love to hear from you. Also, one prediction I'd like to make here on the podcast is who we think is going to win the Money in the Bank ladder match. Out of the 7 guys that we know are going to be in it, Russell, who, and then maybe give me your scenario for them cashing in.
Okay. Let's name the 7 guys again.
Okay. Dolph Ziggler and Sheamus. Okay. Dolph Ziggler and Sheamus, Randy Orton and Roman Reigns, Neville, Kofi Kingston, and Kane.
My top 3 would be Roman Reigns, Kane, and Dolph Ziggler.
I mean, if you had to pick one, I'm not talking about who you would want to see win. If you're in the minds of the WWE bookers, who are they going to go with?
I think they're going to go with Roman Reigns.
I completely agree.
I don't know if that might be what they want to do, though.
What would they want to do?
Crowd. If the crowd doesn't like it, and they start booing him like they did with the Royal Rumble, then you don't know what they could do.
I don't think that's going to be the case because I don't think he has as much heat as he had at the Royal Rumble, and we already know why he got booed between Rumble and WrestleMania is because of the Daniel Bryan thing. That's the reason I think. I don't think he has as much heat anymore. And considering the location, Columbus, I mean, trust me, being in my hometown, I know they're a face crowd. And what I mean by that is you go to New York, you go to Chicago, Cena gets booed out of the building. Columbus, everyone's going to love Cena. So I think they're going to love and be fine with Roman Reigns winning. Now, the internet wrestling community, the IWC, they're gonna crap all over Roman, just like they always do. That's fine. That's their opinion. But I think Columbus will be fine with Roman winning. But I agree. I think he's gonna win. Would he cash in the same night?
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what I think about him cashing in. I think he's gonna win, and I think he cashes in at SummerSlam. I think Seth Rollins retains the title at Money in the Bank. I think Seth Rollins retains the title at Battleground because that'll be the next pay-per-view in between Money in the Bank and SummerSlam. I think at SummerSlam, whether or not, I hear, of course, that Brock Lesnar is supposed to be at Battleground, which he may, but I think whether or not they have a match at Battleground, I think you're going to end up seeing Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar again at SummerSlam. I think that's when Roman Reigns cashes in. Whether or not he makes it a triple threat like Seth Rollins did at WrestleMania, I think you're seeing a cash in at SummerSlam. It's just what I feel it. I can see it happening for some reason. What's that?
The only thing about that is that right now, you're having kind of like Seth Rollins, is kind of going against the authority in a way that, he could be on his own, and he might get a face turn there.
I don't think so. I think this is a temporary mood right now for Seth Rollins. And the fix may be in. They may be playing like he's against the authority, but then come the end of that ladder match at Money in the Bank, the authority comes down to help Seth Rollins. Maybe they're trying to swerve Dean Ambrose, I mean, can't you see the night after Money in the Bank, Seth Rollins with that title over his shoulder laughing with the authority in the ring? We got you, Dean. You thought you were so smart, so clever, but we got you. The Authority stronger than ever. Until Brock Lesnar's music hits. You know, Brock comes back to destroy the Authority for suspending him after WrestleMania.
I think there has to be a reason that Brock Lesnar comes back. He's suspended. The only way that he can be off
suspension's up
is that they're going to announce that he is no longer suspended. I think it goes better with a face Seth Rollins than a heel Brock Lesnar.
I don't think that's going to work because I think the fans are going to want to cheer Brock Lesnar at this point. I think you're going to see a face Brock Lesnar and a heel Seth Rollins. I think the fans, if you look at how they cheered him at the Royal Rumble, at WrestleMania, the night after WrestleMania, Brock's face right now. I really think that. And I think if you can't put Seth Rollins, have him have his big face turn back to face against Brock Lesnar. It's just not going to work. I think they know that too. I think Brock has to be out of the picture. Roman has to be the heel, and that's when Seth becomes face.
The problem with that, though, is if Roman Reigns wins the Money in the Bank and Brock Lesnar is the face, you're going to have Roman Reigns go heel?
Well, here's what I think. If Brock Lesnar beats a heel Seth Rollins at SummerSlam and gets his title back, the Authority's afraid that they won't be able to get that title off of Brock Lesnar. So just like they acquired the services of Seth Rollins and when he turned on the Shield, they'll get Roman in their corner to turn on the Beast. And that's when he becomes heel. Of course, things will start to, boil over with both Seth and Roman being in the Authority together. And I think eventually that's when you see Seth do the face turn and Roman's the muscle for the Authority. Could be. Well, real quickly, let's review the winners of the Money in the Bank ladder match. Edge, Rob Van Dam, Mr. Kennedy, CM Punk twice, Jack Swagger, Kane, The Miz, Daniel Bryan, Alberto Del Rio, Dolph Ziggler, John Cena, Damian Sandow, Randy Orton, and Seth Rollins. Now, John Cena and Damian Sandow were the only two Money in the Bank winners to unsuccessfully cash in. I was fine with Cena not winning when he cashed in, but Damian Sandow, that was a waste right there. That really was a waste. So, looks like, Russell, you and I are both picking Roman Reigns to win the Money in the Bank ladder match. We'll see if that happens. Just thinking that for the past couple of weeks now, he's the one who's had to run through the gauntlet, basically, to even get in the match. So it looks like the Money in the Bank ladder match has been, I guess, quote, his journey back to the championship. And that's why it looks like he's the focal point of the match. Russell, I kind of want to switch gears here and talk about the next event after Money in the Bank. And I'm not talking about the Battleground pay-per-view, which will happen in mid-July. There's going to be an event exclusively on the WWE Network. It's going to be a house show, an untelevised event in Tokyo, Japan. Big card. Brock Lesnar is scheduled to be there. Chris Jericho is scheduled to be there. And announced on NXT this past week, the NXT Championship will be defended when Finn Balor, the number one contender, takes on the NXT champion, Kevin Owens. We're going to talk about Kevin Owens here in a little bit. Big card, Tokyo, Japan. So this is the first house show broadcast on the WWE Network. So my question to you, Russ, for $9.99 exactly. Russell, what's the value of would you want to see more house shows or more special events like we saw the Elimination Chamber, not available on pay-per-view, not available on cable, available only on the WWE network? Would you like to see that?
Certain house shows, I would say. You got to figure you get 3 hours on Monday Night Raw. You got 2 hours on Thursday Night SmackDown. You watch NXT on Wednesday night. If you start adding another special, edition on Sunday night, that's a lot of wrestling.
But they're showing it on the 4th of July, which is a special day, obviously, for our country. So the events could be shown. You have a 4th of July event. You have a Halloween night event. You have a Thanksgiving Day event. Would it be something you'd like to see if they were holiday events, or are too many people busy with other stuff to stay at home and watch stuff on the network on those days?
Not necessarily, because you might have a cookout. Hey, let's have everybody over and have a cookout, and then we'll watch wrestling.
Right.
If it's going to be something that you might see something happen that wouldn't happen on a pay-per-view. I think that's why I was a little bit disappointed with the Elimination Chamber. We thought we had the win there by Dean Ambrose. I even called you.
I know. We talked on the phone, and before the show even went off the air, we were talking about it. We're like, is this real right now?
Yeah, and so, and then they didn't go with it. But I think if they would have, it would have made it even better, because people would have said, oh, my God, I missed, the championship being changed.
Because I didn't have the network.
I could have watched it.
Okay. So that leads me to my next question then. So are you, if they have more of these network exclusive events, how often should we see championships change hands on non-cable, non-pay-per-view shows?
Yes, of course.
But knowing that cable and pay-per-view is their biggest draw, still cable at least, like their Raw and SmackDown, more so than the network, do you think it's going to gain interest when they go on Raw? Hey, what you missed on the network Sunday night was Dean Ambrose winning the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. You can only see that if you have the network. So then a casual fan might go, well, dang, that was a really big thing to miss. Maybe we should get the network. So that's the thinking there, right?
Yeah, I mean, it gives that anything can happen, on any given night, and, you don't want to miss it.
Right.
I mean, if they're never going to have, the major championship change hands at these special events, people are not going to watch it. They're going to be like, okay, it's just another Raw.
Right.
But if they have something like that happen, and not just, once, but if they have, happen once or twice or three times, then people are going to start saying, well, I don't want to miss it because the last time I didn't watch it, so-and-so debuted and they won the championship, or, they have to make it where it is a special event, and that's why people are wanting to watch it, either because they're going to have somebody debut, or they're going to have some type of special match on there, or, like the Elimination Chamber. We don't see that often anymore. To get people talking. If not, they're just going to look at it like it's another role.
I think a lot of the concern over the network when it first debuted was that these pay-per-views, since they're going to be shown for such a lower price on the network, were basically going to become, like you just said, glorified Raws, where it's going to be a 3-hour show, but with no commercials. But on Raw, once in a blue moon, you'll see something really epic happen. But most of the time it's Raw, and they were worried that a pay-per-view was going to become a certain show with a theme where it's not WrestleMania, so you don't expect anything big to happen. If it does, that it's a really rare thing. But the match itself at Elimination Chamber, the title match, was really good, though. You told me, that was the first thing you told me when we talked on the phone, was that you enjoyed it, right?
I did. I think it was a really good pay-per-view.
Well,
if he would have actually won the title, I think it made it even better. Because it was one of those oh my God moments. They actually let him, they did this.
Well, he has been running around with the title ever since Elimination Chamber. So that even though he didn't win the title, has thrown a little, not really a little, but a pretty significant swerve in Seth Rollins' title reign. But of course, Seth Rollins is still the champion. Who knows? We might even see that title defended in Tokyo on the 4th of July. But like I said, we will see the NXT Championship defended. Kevin Owens going to defend the title against Finn Balor, who won the number one contendership at the last NXT TakeOver special. Kevin Owens beat John Cena clean at Elimination Chamber. I loved the match. I thought there was a lot of emotion, a lot of energy in that match. I'm hoping he can beat him again. I think he has to beat him again clean at Money in the Bank to cement his spot. What do you think?
Yeah, or you're going to get another Rusev. Rusev,
it's going to be spoiled.
Yeah. Rusev beat John Cena, tit for tat, but John Cena came out the stronger one. And then it's unfortunate because, Rusev was one of my favorites with what they were doing with him. And, then after he faces John Cena, they put him in a program and he ends up getting hurt. And I think it was all because of what happened with John Cena. Not that he got hurt because of John Cena, but, if he would have been in a different scenario, not wrestling, who he was wrestling at the time, one on the bigger, better things, I think it would have been different for him. And that's the tragedy of it, I just think that John Cena, he still sells tickets. He's still a fan favorite. He still the face of the company. You had to eventually let another guy get over. And
it's not going to hurt John Cena if Kevin Owens beats him twice and then moves on. And then a year or so down the road, John Cena can get his revenge on Kevin Owens. I would even be fine if John Cena was the first guy to beat Kevin Owens, but a year or two down the road after Kevin Owens has done a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm fine with John Cena getting his revenge on Kevin Owens. Not 2 weeks after he beat him, though. Let Kevin Owens build and build and build. They let Rusev go undefeated for how long? Granted, he hadn't been going up against John Cena, but to me, the John Cena-Kevin Owens match was the match of Elimination Chamber. Outside of that moment when we thought Dean Ambrose had just won the title from Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens versus John Cena. I would dare to say Kevin Owens beating John Cena clean outside of a couple things that happened at WrestleMania was the biggest moment we've seen so far this year. Would you agree with that?
I do. It was a oh my gosh moment.
Right.
And I think that's what I'm saying. They need to have more of those because the audience starts falling asleep when you start doing the same thing. Great example. You said it. You have Ryback. He wins the championship. He's a new Intercontinental Champion. It's his first title reign. And what happens? Here comes the Big Show. I'm going to knock you out. I don't care. Why are you facing the Big Show for? Maybe 10 years ago, but not anymore.
Well, first of all, Ryback should have been a champion literally in 2012, 3 years ago. He should have been WWE champion. Not only did he never win the WWE championship, see, I get on this Ryback thing every time we start talking about Ryback. I mean, I don't want to say it's too little, too late for Ryback, but like you just said, Big Show, he's not. I mean, it's impressive without question when Ryback lifts Big Show up for the shell shock and held him there very sturdily. I don't know if that's a word, but he was very sturdy when he was holding him last night on Raw. I mean, that's impressive. I mean, no question. It's impressive when John Cena does it. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't attempt to do it. Russell, you might. But I as a match, I thought the Bray Wyatt-Ryback match was decent. Why? I mean, you say Bray Wyatt doesn't need a title, but wouldn't you rather see Bray Wyatt going after Ryback's Intercontinental title than Big Show?
I would, but like I said, I don't think I would rather see with Bray Wyatt. I would rather see Bray Wyatt do like the Ministry of Darkness. If he's going to be the new face of fear, I want to see him with these guys that are wrecking havoc. Interfering in matches, whether they're a good guy or a bad guy, he interferes. He don't care. He's just there to cause problems. That's my thing with him. I just think that his character doesn't need the title. I just don't see him holding the title, and it making sense for his character.
Right. Well, that's yet to be seen, I guess. But regardless, back to the WWE Network exclusive stuff. Like I said, I'm going to be at Money in the Bank. I couldn't be more excited. I mean, live events are always so much fun. And our city is getting a pay-per-view, so that's extremely exciting. It's going to be a great time. There's no question. But, the house show July 4th from Tokyo, I'm really looking forward to. I look forward to watching NXT every week. These events that aren't the main roster, tainted by the main roster, are the events that the house show in Tokyo is the main roster show, but they can get away with things that they wouldn't do on Raw or SmackDown on this WWE Network exclusive stuff. So the question is do we get to Tokyo on the 4th of July and we see something interesting happen with Ryback, or he's not just wrestling the Big Show? Do we see championships change hands? I think there's so much room for unpredictability on these WWE Network things if they're done right. I mean, hopefully not each one is a glorified Raw. So, I guess time will tell. But, it is what it is. I've certainly enjoyed every house show we've been to, just because you see things that haven't been seen on TV, new feuds that they're thinking about trying out, new moves, just new things. So definitely the house shows are a lot of fun. But, it is what it is. So we'll see how the 4th of July thing happens. We'll see how Money in the Bank goes this weekend. Russell, can you believe that our next episode is episode 25, our silver anniversary of the podcast? It's close to a year for us, that's for sure. We're just a month and a half away or so from a year of doing this podcast. Look, guys, we put a lot of effort and work into the RKO You Didn't Know Facebook page. There's tons of great stuff on there, like I said. So just on Facebook, all you have to do is search RKO, You Didn't Know, just like the name of this podcast. Like us, comment, say whatever you like about our posts. We would love to hear your feedback. It'll be a weekend full of wrestling. There might be some posts exclusively on the RKO You Didn't Know Facebook page from the NXT house show. I'll be attending Saturday night, the night before Money in the Bank, and Money in the Bank, of course, on Sunday. And like I said, Russell and I will post our predictions earlier in the day. I mean, sometime before the pay-per-view starts on Sunday on the Facebook page. Russell, anything you'd like to add to close out this episode?
There is a house show in Dayton that is going on Saturday. Now, of course, there's no John Cena advertising or anything, but it may be something we check out for the low price of, I think, $15 a ticket. We may check it out if we ain't got nothing to do and it's raining. The house show is pretty neat.
Yeah, they're fun. So John Cena was was Roman Reigns advertised? Do you remember? Because I think
I think
either
it's Roman
Reigns. Okay.
I think it's Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose. Might be being advertised.
Okay.
But
well, I know
that makes more sense with him being the champion. You know, that they're pushing him being there instead of the John Cena. But, you know, like I said,
right.
We went over that many times before. People need to definitely check it out before they get their tickets and, you know, who's going to be there.
Yeah, how many times have we gone and seen little kids disappointed because John Cena wasn't at their house show? But, you know, and the card is always subject to change with these things. But, you know, if Roman Reigns is headlining the house show and John Cena is not, I mean, really, if parents know that their kid's a huge John Cena fan, you got to check that stuff out online because, you know,
exactly.
If the main reason you're going is for John Cena and he's not there, someone might get disappointed. I know Ric Flair is scheduled to be at that NXT house show Saturday night, and I believe Zack Ryder is too. Ric Flair was there. I went to I'm sure I talked about it on the podcast after this happened, but at the beginning of March, the inaugural NXT house show that was the first NXT house show they did outside of Florida was here in Columbus. What a great night. Triple H was there. Ric Flair was there in his daughter Charlotte's corner. Ryback and Big Show were there wrestling each other, coincidentally enough, actually, too. But with the main brand house shows going on Saturday night, too, I think it's mainly going to be the NXT roster that's there, which is completely fine with me. That is my favorite WWE-produced show that happens every week. So check out our Facebook page for posts from those events this weekend. You know, there might be something up there along with our predictions for Money in the Bank. Russell, would you like to close this out?
Yeah, for episode number 24, you've listened to RKO. You didn't know? We'll see you next time.
You didn't know?